All right. I don't know how you are feeling. Whether you are excited that we're on break, you needed a timeout. We've just played 3 matches and you wanted, or 4 matches and you want a timeout. I'm sure a lot of you wanted a timeout so you could relax and see what happens after the international break where we go again, right? Well, I hope you're enjoying your international break because very soon the stress will start again. In about a week, we will be preparing against Manchester City and then Chelsea, and we'll see how things go. Welcome to United and Everything Football. Today, I am here with the guys. Yes. When I say the guys, I know you should know what I mean. The guys, yes. The Avengers, the sub-Avengers. You know what? The Avengers is huge. But within the Avengers, there are sub-Avengers. Yes. So today I've brought 2 of the Avengers here, so as for us to discuss the transfers that happened, the last transfer that we had. So we've had 3 transfers under INEOS, 2 summer transfers, 1 winter transfer. So we'll be getting deep into it. We'll be looking at the players that we've brought into the club and how much of a transformation these players can bring to Manchester United. We will be asking you to also give us your ratings of what you've seen from the transfers as well. So it's a packed show today. It's really packed because we'll be discussing a lot of other things, including Ruben Amorim himself. Because my guys have a lot of interesting discussions about him. I'll be hearing their perspective as to how we get into that. My name is Kwame. I'm here with Kwame Nchubu, and I'm joined by Daniel Cranton and Sichofe. Yes, Philip Sichofe joining us. Guys. Let me tell you, Danny, how are you doing?
I'm good.
I hear you're on leave.
But we'll take it like that.
Charlie. Tijo.
Charlie. I'm happy for Danny. I'm happy Danny's on leave and he's happy.
You know, I just got back from work. I've not even changed my I know Tijo is also
I'm still in the office.
Kwame is also on leave. I just remembered. Kwame is also on leave.
Today's my last day, actually. Today's actually my last day. Friday, my last day.
Anyway.
That should start all over again.
Well, we those who went to work, we are recording on Friday, so cheers to something.
Yes.
Cheers. But you the sock bottle. Massa. Before make steady for them. Anyway. I'm not here to do anything. All right, well, let me take a quick break. When I come back, I get to my guys, and then we delve deep into a lot of these things on here on United and Everything Football. All right, guys, thank you so much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football. So remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Let's get to hear from you what you think about the transfer window. All right, let me start with Daniel. Daniel, Charlie.
Yeah.
INEOS. 3 transfer windows so far, 1 winter, 1 summer. Maybe let's look at the general transfer window from INEOS, then we narrow down to this summer. I mean, how do you view personally how they've handled transfers ever since they took over?
To be frank, comparatively, I think they've been better in terms of players that are being brought in and the price tag attached to them. So I think you are getting a bit more value for money under it than in previous transfer windows. And also in terms of addressing the clear-cut problems that the teams have had, or the team has had before the transfer windows, I think they've done a really good job. Last summer's transfer window, we knew we had serious issues in defense. And they went out, brought in Delete, brought in Euro. And these are guys who, as you say all the time, these are guys who, it doesn't matter the coach they are playing under. They are players who can adapt to any system. So, in the absence of any coach, if can use these players, and that's what you want. Sexy last season. And we saw Sexy under Ten Hag. We're trying to figure out what Ten Hag is trying to do. But the manager has come in with a double 10 and 9, and it looks like Zexi can also fit into that system. All things being equal, if he gets fit, if he gets into the rhythm. So for me, this season, I think transfer. But I have a serious problem with this. What happened in the last few days of this transfer? Simple. Sometimes I know the bar. So allow me to free my mind. See,
free your mind.
Before the transfer window, but like 2 weeks before the transfer window ended, waiting for Baleba. You waiting for Baleba. The guy was to over 100 million. They said that you're big. They didn't copy, and then went. Then the last 2 weeks, you're not going to get a Baleba-like player to replace. Genuinely feel like your midfield is lacking something serious, and a player like Baleba. You looking for somebody? Actually, the season is long. You at this midfield and feel like a player like him, 100 million plus player, not get him and say, okay, it's fine. Try again next time. So who should be playing? The ball that they are Casemiro and this thing, Gatti and this thing, they like it, eh? They like what they are seeing. So I don't understand these people. There was money to be spent on Baleba. To get somebody. Casemiro after this season, again, he's going. Somebody is a big level player. Next season, you want to go back for Baleba. So I'm going to get him. Can to be competitive this season. That is like change your midfield against Grimsby. You can sit up. And it will prompt you that Charlie, Baleba thing, don't get it. That we need to go and get somebody like him. It was like they're not serious, but cool.
Oh God.
So the guy will say, your brother, Echekpa. Sijo, let me hear your perspective.
Yeah.
3 transfer windows.
Look, the truth of the matter is that the problems confronting Man United is huge, and we probably would need like some other transfer windows to add to what we've already experienced to sort them out. Because after the 3 transfer windows, we still have now Euro, who is a very important player to us. Delete still remains one of the key players in defense. And I don't want to add the January transfer window where they brought to Dogu, who also looks like the coach would rely heavily on, but I don't trust that guy. So when you look at those 3 transfer windows, obviously no team really makes significant signings in January in the winter transfers. Most of the transfers are normally going to be based on what they've done in the summer. So in the summer of the last summer they had, they brought in Euro, they brought in Dele, they brought in Mansuari, they brought in, I think, was it Hoyland or something?
No. They brought in 3 defenders.
They brought in Zegzi.
Yeah, they brought
in
in
Ugarte.
And Ugarte.
They brought in Ugarte. Now, so I'm doing an analysis at the time they brought them. At the time they brought in Joshua Zegzi, we all thought that it was a good signing because we clearly needed an extra leg up the pitch, right? And when we brought in Mazuari, Delete, Euro, unfortunately Euro got injured, but these were very good signings at the time. And let's face it, when Ugarte was coming, many people thought it was the deal. I had personal conversation with Danny. I told Danny I didn't really trust Ugarte, but I wanted him to prove me wrong. But at the time he came, he was well sought after. He was one of the best rated DMs in the world. So it made sense that you had Ugarte. It just doesn't work as we thought it would work. So I won't fall them for it. Some signings are like that. Then coming into this summer, obviously on the back of last season, we didn't score a lot of goals. Attacking whites were bland. So then they brought in 2 players who scored a lot of goals in the Premier League last season, and they brought in a young prospects in Benjamin Sheffield. So in Mbeumo Cunha, Premier League experience, Benjamin Sheffield captain. My problem is that because of how deficient our team is, you can't fix. If you want to fix the team, you need to strike a balance. So in striking the balance, for me, after signing Mbeumo and Cunha, I would have put the plugs on signing attackers and then focus on more of energy and resources into the middle of the park. Because if you look at what we've done in this summer, from our defense, from last summer, we had a good, a reliable defense that we could manage with. Then you brought in Mbeumo and Cunha. So that beefed up the attack. So I would have put the plugs on buying Sheffield and invest that time and effort and money into trying to sign a midfielder. Yes, you didn't get Baleba, but probably you don't tell me that Baleba is the only one on your list. You probably have got other players who are on your list because look, where Man United are right now, we need to be a little bit short-termist, right? To be able to achieve our long-term goals. We can't straight away achieve our long-term goals if we don't do the very short-termism things that makes us competitive and builds on our level to then bring in more players later on. So I think for me, I'll rate their transfer activities as good, but maybe the management of it and the planning of it should have been better.
Okay, good, but the planning of it could have been better. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with you on that, because the issue of the midfield I'm sure is one issue a lot of people had raised throughout, last season, where you look at players like Casemiro, who has become very difficult to move on. A lot of people felt he should have been added to the bomb squad some way, somehow, so that we sort of find a way of shifting him away. But Amorim suddenly fell in love with him again and perhaps decided that, okay, I need that kind of a figure around. Kwame has always been pushing that Casemiro shouldn't be at the club at this time, given where we are trying to go, and the fact that he lacks the legs to be able to play the way we want to play. But a few things. But Kwame, I don't know which perspective you will take it from. I don't know, because it's not just incomings. There's been outgoings as well, which I think has been quite interesting, because the last time I saw an analysis Kwame did, where it looks as if INEOS have raised close to 200 million euros over these summers with regards to players that we've sold. I don't think there's been a year, a space of 1 year where we've been able to do that kind of clear out in terms of, selling players. And it looks as if there are some coins that have come from a lot of the sell-ons and all of those things coming into us, and a lot of prospective obligation to buys, which looks very, very good. Kwame, which side are you picking it from? Are you, continuing from?
No, I'll quickly take it from both sides, actually. It's been a lot of money spent. I looked into the numbers. You know, Kevin Maguire, this financial expert.
Yes.
He now has a Twitter.
Kieran Maguire.
Yeah. He now has a Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Where he puts all these numbers, accurate numbers on for us to make reference to. And he said over the past 12 months, Manchester United have spent £469 million on transfers since INEOS took over. 469 million. Last season, we spent £237 million. And this summer, we spent £232 million on the players that we've bought. It's a lot of money being spent in a very short space of time, almost £500 million. If we had signed Baleba, that would have been more than £500 million spent. And we actually intended on actually signing Baleba. So it would have crossed that mark.
Yeah.
But like all other big clubs are doing now, you have to strike a balance. Cash must come in from somewhere. That's where the whole sales bits comes in. And then they started this whole thing of selling our homegrown players, right, last summer, and inserting certain clauses, sell-on clauses, so that even if they are not sold immediately for huge amounts of money, when they are sold in the future, we can recoup a huge amount of money back. A case in point is Alvaro Fernandez, Caracas, whatever his name is, the one who went to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Sold for 50 million euros. Yeah. Exactly. We sold him quite cheap, I think £6 million, but we inserted, I think, a 40 to 50% sell-on clause on it. So you get all those balances, checks and balances done. I know a lot of people are like, why did we even have to sell him in the first place? But a lot of factors go into it. We needed cash at the time. And the boy's interest in going back to his home, Real Madrid. People forget that. They're exactly a Real Madrid academy player. We got him from there. So ultimately, when you look at the deal from a business point of view, it's us doing good business. But in terms of the spot, the left back or left wing back in this case, he could have done a job for us. But that is, for me, I think it was out of our control. We still have a lot of work to do. INEOS sounded it out to us a long time ago. I remember Sir Jim Ratcliffe's first interview. He said it's going to take some time. Things are not going to change like a flip by the flip of a switch.
He has a famous phrase. It's not like a light switch. That's
exactly
on and off. Yeah.
And they have set targets, right? This season, they have made it clear to us that top 6 finish. You know me, I don't agree with that. I'll never agree. I'm a fan. I'm not going to just accept those kind of standards. But
mediocre.
Yes, but I think for them, they feel like it's realistic based off the fact that we can't do everything at once.
No, yeah.
That's the problem. So they're like, okay, we know our squad has deficiencies. We know there are other teams who may be better than us. But worst case scenario, we can't be worse than the 5th or 6th worst team in the league. And that gives you European football. That's a sign of progress. Next season, if we are looking at addressing the rest of the deficiencies that we have, we'll have less to do, right? Then we can go now a definite top 4 finish or even competing for the title is possible. And then their main targets being by 2028, we should be league champions. There is no excuse for not actually being in the hands for the title. It wouldn't even make sense to them at that point that after all the patience and time and money spent, we are still not competing. But there is something else to this. it's not going to run smoothly. When I say this for both the purchases they are doing and the managers that they are appointing. There will be bumps along the way in the sense that Sicho mentioned rightly. Some of the signings may not work. It happens everywhere with every club. It's just that we are not doing a high turnover of, let's say, we're not bringing in a high volume of players. Like Chelsea, for instance. There are a lot of players Chelsea have signed that have been busts. Lavia or whatever his name, he doesn't play. He was bought for 53 million pounds. It's a waste. Like it didn't work.
Chuku, Emeka, all of them.
So many of them, like a long list. But what we are doing is because we are not signing a high volume of players, we are trying to make sure that most of the signings that we get are hits.
Are on point.
But it is never ever going to work that way. It's virtually impossible in football that you get every signing.
At some point, we cut our losses with Ugarte Dems and then
you cut. That is exactly where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going to. So there are certain signings that we have made already. I think they've signed about 13, 14 players, right? Some of them won't work. But if you have about, let's say, 8, 9 of them working, the hit rate, that's what I'm referring to. If the hit rate is good, you are on track. Mm-hmm. It even applies the same with managers.
Yeah.
They've made a couple of managerial appointments. And I include Eric Ten Hag because they accepted him, they gave him a new contract. That's the first one. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean that by 2028, whoever is in charge now will be the same manager in charge. They would love it to be that case, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Do you get my point? Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed that whatever plan that they have now works, but it doesn't mean that whatever that we are acquiring now is what we should expect to 100% work out for us. There'll be mistakes along the way. But so far, I think the recruitment is fine. The targets are also achievable. So there are no excuses, irrespective of the weakness in our midfield, not to be able to get a top 5-6 finish.
Yeah. Nadi, but still on the transfers, there are some contentions. I saw Sicho's post on X about the some Lemons, if I get the name right, the goalkeeper that we've signed.
Daniel Amos.
Yes, we went toe to toe. We had two options on deadline day. I mean, it was quite interesting. We're speaking to two of them at the same time. Clearly, Lemons was the top target, and then Martinez was the other one that we're looking at.
Opportunistic
signing, as Kwame would want to put it. I don't know your thoughts on that, because I kind of agreed with Sicho, because I know what to expect from Dibu. But given the sensitivity and the peculiarity and the issues surrounding our goalkeeping situation, I felt perhaps we should have gone for Dibu. But what's your thoughts on that particular situation?
Football and football's life.
Mm-hmm.
The same principles that govern football. You remember when De Gea came to the club? Van der Sar had left. It was a set team. But De Gea still needed about 4, 5 months, 6 months, if I half the season, to settle down into the team.
Yeah. We have to start playing Lindegaard ahead of him at some point to get into the vision.
Yeah. I provide errors against Man City, against Arsenal, and he had to be dropped. But in future, as time went on, he got better. You see, when I'm bringing young players like that, and I like the word you used, the sensitivity. Look, the goalkeeper plays. It's not like midfielder you can play 3 or 4. Goalkeeper is one person. If the guy mess up. Wasa. And again, it's a very sensitive position, because a midfielder can give a poor pass that will lead to goal, and then turn around and give a killer assist.
Yeah.
And if the match goes well, if you win, nobody really remembers his mistake. But a goalkeeper will make super saves and make one mistake, and that's it. And that's what he even suffered from in his last season. He had a good season, but some high-profile errors at a time when the team needed perfection. That's what going against him. Now, this Lamens guy, I don't know him. I don't see him before. Man United have a serious confidence problem at this point. I mean, honestly, the opening weeks of the season, I don't see like the manager who has signed with the players with it. No. Look, psychology and confidence, like you can be on such a low, one high, the fans think everything is right. And then one moment, one lapse in concentration, one bad moment in a game that is going very
viral,
back down again.
Yes.
What happens is, like, in times like this, I think you need experience. For me, with that, you don't fancy buying, your friend said, buying that was buying that. You don't buying that. You don't fancy Unana. from the start of the transfer window, we have been hearing rumors about United possibly going in for another goalkeeper. Look at how much the Lamens guy cost. It was a deep man you will get over the line.
Yeah.
The guy wanted to come. Antwerp wanted to sell. Man wanted him. It was just about when the time is right, then we'll pay the money and the guy will come. It cost any amount of money. In fact, in football, how much money you bought him for? That's a second team book. That's like a backup goalkeeper price in a modern man. It's going to be a number one. But why didn't you force Aida to get some move somewhere? Send him on loan. And then package Onana nicely. Package him nicely in the transfer window. And try and offload him for the two. Because Martinez is an established Premier League goalkeeper. And you see, you need characters like that. I don't really like him as an opposition. But if he was in my team, I always say it, there are players like that. As an opposition fan, you hate them. But if he was in your team, you love him.
100%. I've said this a lot of times. I've said it, sir.
Characters like Martinez in this current Man United team. Because he makes one mistake right now. The things you do in the post-half, okay, you carry the press, and the pressure doesn't affect him. But it's not like some extraordinary goalkeeper. The guy is good. You know what he will give you. You know what he will not give you.
He's got a lot of shit house trick.
The dickhead. But he would have been our dickhead.
I see. At last, in fact, in the morning of the transfer window, it looked like we were towards Martinez. And then all of a sudden, they said they had put the flag. There was a possibility for you to go for the two of them. Because this Lamens guy, if he comes in and it's not working, it's to bind down Nana. And that means that's another wasted transfer. And to be frank, in terms of pedigree, he's not. See, if you put Konana and you put Lamens down on the muddy market, the top teams will come for Nana. Whether you like it or not, will come for Nana. That's the fact.
Of course.
So, I don't know the character of Lamens, but Charlie, Man U is big. And Man U needs, at this particular point in time, you need some character that Matheus Cunha. Like, can have a bad day, but I don't care because I know that the guy gets some aura and some audacity. Yeah. Some things will affect him. I look at Sesko, sit up against Grimsby, and fire your body, they do your body like Grimsby. Play ball. Some characters like that to be able to withstand the pressure. And for me, it was a I don't want to say it was a mistake, but we
missed an opportunity. That's how I want to put it. We missed an opportunity to get the two of them. Yeah. That's way. But Sicho, let me get to you. I don't know. Sometimes I feel I wish we had that aggression Chelsea has when it comes to pursuing players and getting deals done. I mean, when they set their sights on doing certain things, I wish we had that kind of aggression because it looks as if, I don't know, maybe the dynamics are different. It's Man United. It is. Oh, but Charlie, after spending 400 million, it would be because in this go. The money they.
No, we have. Chelsea have got fair money. Chelsea can sign 18 players and have a bid for only 5. You don't have that privilege.
That's the thing. That's the issue.
Yeah, Chelsea can sign 18 players and play to Strasbourg.
When Chelsea was sold, they started from zero, clean slate. Clean slate.
Yeah. So I want is a careful means of spending. My point is that INEOS obviously they'll gamble. And when you talk about INEOS recruitment and acquisitions, they made a lot of mess at the very top. We've gotten several high level football administrators that hasn't worked. They've had to part ways and all of that in a short time. So they are also new to it. They are also trying to figure it out. Let's not talk as though INEOS were managing some Borussia Dortmund somewhere and they come to England. They are also new to this, right? And so they're making certain mistakes. And as Danny says, for me, we can't go like the way Chelsea are going or Man City are going. And again, I've said this a lot of times, I'll say it again. When you are rebuilding, it is important that almost 90%, especially when you're rebuilding on the budget you are using to rebuild, it's important that almost 90% of your signings are guaranteed success. Because you don't have the luxury to sign players and fail with them. That City can sign some players and they will fail and they will get away with it because they have already established an established team that can win without the new signings. Chelsea could sign plenty players and bring them in and sample through because they have money to spend. At the moment, even Arsenal can sign some players and fail. The players will fail, But it won't hurt so much because the key players they have a steady team with the key players. But for Man United, a single player we are bringing to the club is coming to solve a problem. They are not coming as luxury players. So when was the last time you signed a player who was coming in to be a substitute, who was coming in to be a backup? Whenever we sign a player, the player is coming to be a starter. So in Bemo didn't come to be a backup. Cunha, Seko, Lamens now, Ugarte, they are coming in to solve particular problems. So it's important that when these players are signed, they become successful. If about 90% of our signings in this rebuilding period are not successful, then the rebuilding is stalled or it's retrogressive. It doesn't carry forward. So it will get to a time where the team is stable. They can sign players who will now come and be starters, and players like Mbemo will be their deputies. Then you know you have a machine. So if a player like Mbemo is on the bench and is coming on for a top player, then you know that he's got weapon and arsenal. But at the moment, whoever we sign is here to solve the problem. So this is the goalkeeper. I have nothing against the young man. He's highly rated, to be honest, and everything. But you see, Man United are even doing him a disservice. If we think that Benjamin Sesko can't start the Premier League games now because he'll be under pressure and then the scrutiny on him will be high, then what about the goalkeeper? Because he's coming in at a time where our two goalkeepers have clearly demonstrated that they are not good enough.
There's a huge spotlight in that department.
I have a theory on that, but when you're done, Chicho.
Yeah, sure. From day one, there's scrutiny on him, right? And if he can goalkeepers are allowed to make mistakes. It doesn't matter how good you are. Neuer makes the mistakes and everything. But at this moment, if you are a Man United goalkeeper and you make the slightest of mistakes, the whole scrutiny and the whole pressure is incredibly high. So I would have thought that like I mentioned earlier in my earlier submission, at this moment we need some signings who can be short-termists, but give us a noun solution and result so that we can build on the solution and result they've given us. So I would have gone for Martinez because here in Premier League experience, everybody knows who Martinez is. Martinez will make a mistake and still be able to make those big saves, command the back and everything. If Martinez comes and it doesn't work, it is easier to shift it. It is easier to move past him because in Martinez, everybody knows he'll have been there for like 2 years or 3 years. They'll be getting somebody for the future. But this boy now is coming in for the next 6 years. If it doesn't work, you need to probably go and find another goalkeeper for the future. So I thought maybe they could have picked Martinez on that one.
Kwame, your thoughts? You have a theory. Let's hear your theory.
I don't even think Lammers is going to be a starter at Manchester United. I don't think he was brought in to be a starter. Yeah, that's my theory. Yeah, I'm serious. This is it. It's because this theory had been running for weeks even before he was signed. That if we are going to even acquire a goalkeeper, and it comes back to what I'm actually the broad topic I'm actually going to bring up. And the key word to this topic is priority. Right from the beginning of the summer, the goalkeeping was not a priority for Manchester United when it came to the market. It's just we've taken advantage of a situation because the owner sat down with the people and went like, what I'm seeing, we have to do something about it now. We can't let it wait. So the news before this sign was made weeks ago was that if Manchester United is going to make a first choice goalkeeper, Onana must leave. If we are going to get somebody who has to be a backup to Onana and offer relatively good competition to Onana, then Banyede must leave. And the goalkeeper that was linked as a potential backup or somebody who can push Onana was Lamens. When the whole Martinez thing came up, everybody knew he had to be a starter. But the problem was Andre Onana was going to be difficult to shift. The numbers weren't going to make sense if Onana wasn't going to leave the football club. You know, Onana even came into the summer thinking that he deserves a new contract. That was his plan. His plan was actually to leave. So what I'm trying to say is leaving the club is so far away in the thoughts of Andre Onana that he was even thinking he's coming to Manchester United to get a contract extension. So for the numbers to have worked, and I'm coming back to the Martinez thing, why it didn't work. What came out from reliable journalists was that Manchester United wanted to balance the books in a way that if we send Jadon Sancho to them for a set price, they can give Martinez to us for the same price. It doesn't have to be a cash transaction. It will just be recorded on the books. If you remember this swap, Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan.
Yes.
Very similar. They've been listed in the books to have cost £35 million each, but there was no cash transaction done between both clubs. The players' valuations were just listed in the books, and that was enough. So United was looking to do that deal with them, except for the fact that Jadon Sancho did a Jadon Sancho and said, I'm not going. That boy's plan is to go next year as a free agent so that he and his agents can share whatever money that they want to share and then be free. So that's how come that broke down. But this is my theory. I don't think it's the end of the Martinez chase. It's possible we could still get Martinez even for cheaper next season. The reason I'm saying next season is, like I said, goalkeeping wasn't a priority. So they think they have half solved the problem now. They would have time to get rid of these two duds, these two useless goalkeepers over the next 12 months, right? And what they'll do is by the end of next summer, Martinez would be there and they would have Martinez and they will have Lamens for far cheaper a price than they would have done if they were trying to get those two goalkeepers this summer with the difficulty of shifting the two useless people. That's how I'm seeing it.
Okay.
So let me just circle back to the priorities. They wanted to attack our attack first. They came to a conclusion last summer after the shit season that we had that the biggest problem Manchester United has is that we've shipped all our firepower, supposed firepower, because even the firepower we had, we were toothless. We've shipped almost all of them away. Some of them also want out. So many things. So this is the area of the pitch where we lack power, we lack pace, we lack position. Let's just go all in on attack, right? But the emphasis was that we are going to sign Premier League proven players. And this is where my disappointment lies. That it was stated clearly, according to Radcliffe, according to everybody, we're all in sync, that Premier League proven players should be the priority. And the two names we had first, very, very early on, were Delap and Cunha, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not knowing that our manager wanted 2 10s, meaning he wanted 3 forwards. So we got Mbeumo on board. Apparently, it was either between Mbeumo or our own Semenyo. And then Semenyo went like, we are trying to play some fast one on him. So he's not going to agree because you're not going to pay him well. I think they started looking at the numbers. The whole problem we had was we did a Cunha deal so early that people were using it as a reference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In terms of the transfer fee and even the wage that was, and everything was in the public. So every player was like, why are you negotiating with me for, we want to give me like some
75.
When I've heard you are giving some Cunha on I believe I'm on the same level with him, 100 and something. So it became the base for everybody. We got Cunha, we got Mbeumo. The lab rejected us. Thank God he did, because that guy is sharp. But now the debate was, we want to stick to the Premier League proven thing. Apparently, we even went back to the Welbeck situation. You know, this coach Ten Hag wanted Welbeck, so we went back to Welbeck. I wouldn't have been against it. Me, I'm a romantic. Me, I like this whole ex-player, homegrown player story. I love it. So I would have been on board with it. But the issue was that the owner had to circle back and go like, you know, when we started this whole project, I think it's the transfer window. I mean, what I've come to learn about transfers, it shifts. It can shift so quickly. You can have your plan. You can have your absolute bulletproof plan, but the window can dictate to you what you should do. So we kind of went off board by going for a Welbeck who is 35, because what we learned from the INEOS project is they want to sign players within a certain age bracket. We didn't want players. You see, you can easily sway from what the original plan is, but the original plan is you don't want to sway from the 25, 26, 27 year. You want to go lower than that because you want this project to be a long-term project where you have players who can be in the team and build with the team for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So the owner was like, oh, let's just hold on a bit here. We are going for a soon to be 35-year-old and Welbeck. How long is he actually going to give you? How durable would he be? Wouldn't it be better if he comes in rather as a backup to a certain striker? So why don't we target someone else? That's where we moved even to Oli Watkins, if you guys can remember. And then the Oli Watkins numbers became sort of unrealistic in a way that we are going to pay £60 million for a soon to be 30-year-old centre forward.
Why don't you splash it on a young striker then?
Then they came back to their original plan. Why don't you, if we are going to spend 60 million, because that's the number now, that's the minimum reference we are going with now. We've moved all the way from £30 million for the lap to probably even peanuts for Welbeck. And they'll go like, now even the Premier League proven striker we could actually
let me I'm sorry, I'll cut you in your tracks because I have to go for a break. It's very important.
I hope I can remember where I was.
Continue.
You always coming to Welbeck's money, which is probably cheaper than 30 million lap. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go for a quick break. When we come back, guys, I would get Kwame to complete what he was saying. Okay, we'll be right back after this. This is United and Everything Football. All right, we are back once again on United Everything Football. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Please give us the likes. Yes, the likes. It's very, very important. Kwame, you're on the Welbeck transition to Watkins transition to.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you forgot the whole joke
so
element too. There was a joker's element too at some point too.
No, there's nothing been concrete. I said the joker's thing, we'll know about the truth about everything that happened in the future. I think there was a lot behind the scenes we don't know. I don't think any of the links to him when he came to United was concrete because he made a pact that he wants to go to Arsenal. It's like what probably Mbumo did with us. We're just worrying ourselves with this whole direct link with him when he had already chosen to go to a certain club.
Yeah.
But we'll know more later. But back to the whole. So I was at Watkins. So now you have to spend £60 million on the Premier League proven player, Oli Watkins. But he's soon to be 30 years old. That's you overpaying in a way. I would say probably in hindsight, they may have a point. They may, because I still would have taken a punt on Oli Watkins. But Oli Watkins hasn't even started the season. What if he's actually really, truly on a decline? Who knows? He may just be the old Oli Watkins, or we'll be going like, why didn't we sign him? I would have taken a punt.
End the season well up too.
He lost his position to Rashford, right?
Rashford, Asensio,
So now they're like, okay, £60 million is a lot of money. And we didn't even have the cash at the time, if you remember. The cash wasn't there because the sales hadn't even gone well. Yeah. We then had to go and activate our credit facility so that we can have money to do a big purchase. Yeah. So now it's like, okay, you're going to do a big purchase. If you're going to spend £60 million and over, why don't you then spend it on what we originally planned to spend big money on, a younger player? Yeah. And then you're looking at the English market, and beyond Oli Watkins, there's not really anybody else. Let's be honest. There's like, after Oli Watkins, who else are you going to buy? Yeah. You have to step out of that market and then take the risk. Something we did not originally want to do, and something that the coach didn't actually want to do either. Yeah. Because apparently he had spoken about us getting Premier League ready players so that it makes his job easier. He personally even pursued Martinez for about 3-4 months, right? And he wanted us to sign this young boy who went to Chelsea. What's his name again? The striker. Delap, right? So he was hell-bent on us signing those kind of players. But like we spoke about this project a year ago, it's not going to be a manager dictating to us who we should sign anymore. That's a mistake, actually. It's a mistake that we do not have to repeat at Manchester United. It has to be a collaborated effort, or it has to be a case where United knows how they want to play. We get players for that. If the manager doesn't work, it doesn't mean we have to buy a whole new set of players because they were the manager signings. That's just a mistake. So now you have to rely on the network that you've built. That's where Vivel comes in. I'm just constructing this so that you guys can sort of appreciate this. So Vivel comes in as the man who we go like, you are a recruitment guy. We are now in a spot of border here. We need a solution. We need a striker. We have to step out of England and now get something exotic. To make our situation less risky, who would you recommend? And let's be honest, if you ask Vivel right now, with Šeško on the market, who he should recommend? Somebody he signed twice. Of course, he's going to go like Šeško. And he led the whole campaign for Šeško, for us to bring him in.
The fact that United already had him on the radar so many years.
Before. Yes. Exactly. So it's like the old playbook. Go for that guy because I know everything about that guy. You guys have a whole dossier about that guy. He has the physical characteristics to work. But our concerns were always going to be there when it comes to bringing in players from outside. They may not hit the ground running. We have seen it already. It's clear. But I also have another theory to it as to why a player like Šeško is not playing from the off. And a player like Lamens would also not play from the off. It's because the coach didn't want them. The coach didn't want those particular players and would be slightly skeptical about those players because he doesn't really know them that well. And I'm saying this based on what the coach himself has said about these two players, or not even said about them. When we signed Šeško, do you know what he said? He said, I'm now getting to know certain things about this player that I didn't even know that he had those qualities before. And that he needs to take his time to bet into English football. If he was somebody that he was 100% on board with, trust me, we would have thrown him in earlier. But he himself doesn't have 100% appreciation of the talent. And this is not the first time we've seen a Manchester United manager treat a player that he has not been 100% on board with in such a way. We've seen it to Jose Mourinho and Fred and Lindelof. It took Fred and Lindelof 6 months before they actually started playing regularly for Manchester United because Jose Mourinho said straight away that the players that he wanted, he didn't get. The club went out there to go and get those kind of players for him, and then he had to figure it out, and he needed time.
Okay.
You've seen it with Eric Ten Hag and Ugarte, where he wanted Sofian Amrabat, and then we went to go and get Ugarte for him, and was like, he was even playing Nuzem Mazraoui in midfield because he just didn't want the whole Ugarte thing. So I think it's going to take time with certain signings, right? Because the manager may not be 100% on board with them. All these factors have shaped our market.
Okay.
But me, I don't have any issues with it. If the coach can't do it with these players, and then
okay,
and then we move.
Let's address the elephant in the room, which is the coach. Danny K. Sicho has a very strong opinion. I mean, I've come to appreciate the thinking of Sicho. I mean, over time. I mean, so when someone is very consistent in putting out, I mean, certain opinions, you get to appreciate the whole mindset, especially when you look at big clubs. I mean, it is not. How do you call it? A situation where, let's say, you are going to get the time.
Results matter. Results matter.
The results matter. That is Sicho for you. But Danny, what's your thoughts on the guy?
Sicho is my guy. So yeah, no. You see, he's a realist.
Yes,
and to be frank,
that's what I wanted to talk about. Yes, he's a realist.
I used to be like that, but a couple of years ago, some things happened, and I realized that, you see, in life, that's why I said football is life. You understand? In life, it's not always that 1 + 1 is 2, especially when you're dealing with human beings. Sometimes things can happen. Because I was looking at Arteta with no experience, this Arsenal job that was given to him. And I said it just wasn't going to work. In the first 3 seasons, he had finished 8-8, and then goes from 5th to 2nd, a very strong title push. And I realized that, okay, that wasn't normal. So sometimes you have to give human beings some So I started judging ideas, especially for new people who come in. I start judging their ideas rather than what is actually happening. Because it is the idea that will give birth to the reality. Yeah. If the idea is you give the person time, chances are it will work out in the end.
Okay.
And for me, being calm down, what Amorim wants to do, for me, it makes perfect sense to me. It's just about 1 or 2 elements that are missing. And the 1 or 2 elements that are missing, as it stands, is not just in terms of players. Confidence is also a huge factor.
Yeah.
Look, to be frank, in this Man United team as it stands, if you bring a combination of Klopp, Pep, in his heyday, Ferguson, now, it will still take time. Because the player body, look, the confidence is on an all-time low. They are not that bad. And I've been saying this consistently for years. There's a reason why Diogo Dalot will go and play the same right wing back for Portugal and will look decent. But when it comes to Man United, his understanding of the role is good. Giving the ball, and all of a sudden, it's like he's never played football before. It's a confidence thing. So, and it will take time. It can rack up some 2-3 wins in a row. That's why for me, that Burnley win was very essential because Man City, they are right to be beaten. Man City is set. You need to, once you are approaching that game with a win under your belt, City themselves don't look too good to make that point. All of a sudden, the mood in the dressing room has changed. And I spoke about characters earlier. Now United have some 1 or 2 characters in the dressing room who live up these things. Now it's not just past this mentality of you always want to win and you always want the best. A player like Mateus Cunha, players like that too, doesn't need to be playing well to be shouting at somebody. Like that's it. You don't need to be playing well to set an example to know that somebody has shined. You need to tell the person off. And you need 1 or 2 characters like that. So it's about confidence. Confidence is a huge thing. I'm telling you guys, look, this Burnley game, we had played that Burnley game, let's say in 2 months' time, when confidence had that game will win like 10-2. I don't lie you. Win that game like 10-2. But somewhere, somehow, you start doubting yourself, you start all of a sudden it becomes some thing. So for me, I believe Amorim work. I genuinely believe that with time, and if he can get the The winnable games, the one on paper that people know you can win, you can win. So the Burnley at home, win it. You can make some Man City thing that will give you a huge booster. Because remember, go to Etihad, and we've done it before. Last season, we beat them at Etihad. I believe that the next 2 weeks are the turning points for Man U. If they go to Etihad and they win, that's the feel good factor will be back to Old Trafford for that Chelsea game. Like, a different altogether, welcoming Chelsea to Old Trafford. And if they can beat Chelsea, Situ, back to back. I know that if doesn't play football, I've never seen him in my life before. He doesn't play football. But it's also a factor. He doesn't play, but he's a factor. But if they can get these wins that will carry a lot of confidence into the dressing room, it also helps the manager. Some of the decisions become easier. Some of the players start playing with cruise control. You don't have to think about every decision you make before you make it. Sometimes you need it. And remember, I made this example. I was chatting with somebody last week. The Conte example. When Conte came in, that's 2 weeks, in fact, about 2 months. So he was struggling. Then the Arsenal game happened. The second half of the Arsenal game, he changed to back three. It wasn't just tactical. But look at the fixtures that Chelsea had after the Arsenal game until they beat Man City at Stamford Bridge. When they went on, that was it 12 or 13 games in a row. It was a very nice streak. They just started one game at a time. And because there was no pressure on them, by the fifth sit win, all of a sudden, the players felt like, because they had been champions just for 2 seasons ago, they felt like they were back. And now, Conte didn't really need to do much. Just do the tactical thing. As for the character and things, the players will take care of it. So this is a real factor, especially with this Man United team. And I believe that if they can navigate these next 2 weeks, beat Man City at Etihad, which is very possible. And if you do that, it gives you extra confidence for that Chelsea game. Chelsea themselves, they've not really settled as a stance. Get that Chelsea game over the line. That fixture list now looks really good up until December. And for you can go on this really nice run, and then you'll be comfortably in the top 6 by the time Christmas comes. Anything can happen from there. So for me, I trust Amorim, to be frank. Like, I look at the ideas, sense. Last season, you could just see that there was stubbornness. And I will not see.
Danny.
All right, Situ, let me get to you.
Yes.
on Amorim. Danny used the right word that I was looking to describe you and the way you view the game. You're a realist, and that's one thing. I mean, it's not the what is on the ground.
Yeah. No, listen, for me, if I look at a lot of things, it is true. I look at the reality of the matter. I also look at the facts of it.
Yeah.
Look, Ruben Amorim's problem, and let me make certain examples that doesn't look like Ruben Amorim can follow. The Ruben Amorim problem that I've got with him is his stubbornness. Look, you should be stubborn about something that is working for you, not something that has worked for you.
He used the Conte example. I was like, you just shot yourself in the foot.
Conte changed. Conte came and was playing 4-3-3. Conte changed to the back three. He went on a run. Conte went to Inter Milan, went with the back three. He won the league. Conte goes to Napoli, sticks with the back three, realizes that the back three won't win him the title, changes to the 4-3-3. He's a Scudetto winner. So the problem I have with Amorim is, look, the style you are playing went immensely for you in Portugal. But that was yesterday. That was last year. That was a couple of seasons ago. Now you are at Manchester United, and it looks like maybe the players or maybe your style is not getting you the results. So what you have to do is maybe even in the same formation and system, introduce certain tweaks. Because the problem is, Man United is too predictable. And Man United can easily be read through. And that's why we can have a game, have a good first half, and plummet in the second half because teams are realizing where your spaces and your loopholes are. And Premier League clubs are rich. They employ a lot of analysts who are analyzing game from morning to evening. Before they turn up at the game against you, they know your weaknesses. And even we who sit here in Ghana or sit on the pod, watch Man United and can predict where our downfalls are coming from. You can't tell me Premier League teams are not seeing these things.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with Amorim. Look, quite clearly, Amorim, you don't have the midfield that complements itself in the midfield too. There are no two Man United midfielders in the team right now that complement each other. Not Bruno Casemiro, not Casemiro Ugarte, not Ugarte Menu, not Menu Bruno. However you do the permutations, they don't complement. So if you're the manager and you're not cast in stone in one style, what about playing playing the 3-5-2? Why don't you go with Cunha Mbemu as a two top? Or go with Sesko Mbemu and drop one of Cunha or Mbemu? Or drop one of the attackers. And in the middle of the pack, go with maybe Ugarte Bruno Menu, Ugarte Casemiro Bruno. Something. Just say,
replace the legs with numbers. Simple. It's quite basic.
so that the spaces are closer. So that player positions or spaces between players are tighter and closer. But you see, the problem I'm calling Amorim is that he's being stubborn about the things that are not working. And for me, it's not somebody who is wise. Because it is true, you can live or die on the hill by yourself. It's up to you. But the truth of the matter is, since he came, it's not working. And you see, here's the thing. We won against Burnley, but we didn't necessarily play well. Yes, we created chances. But generally, I don't think it was a great performance against Burnley at Old Trafford, right? And so we've got the win against Burnley. Maybe it can bring some momentum here and there. But the problem is, for Man United to compete in top four, you need a lot more consistency and better foothold on games. We will always have these Burnley games. Man can go on some poor run and beat some Burnley, beat some Brighton. Have these games where 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, and you are like, at least we won, at least we created chances. No. You need a team that is capable of consistently delivering solid results. And by solid results, playing well, looking difficult to beat, and scoring goals. That makes you competitive. So that's my problem with Ruben Amorim and why I don't think that what he's doing will lead him to success unless he tweaks or changes a couple of things about his team.
Kwame, Sicho has made his point.
Yeah.
People have heard a lot of you on Amorim, but I don't know what you have.
No, but I have this to say. I've been on both sides of the divide. I've been on the manager's side and I've been on the other side where I'm like, I don't trust this man. You know why I gave Eric Ten Hag a chance? Because right from the first season, he showed us something. You can go like, okay, if you give this manager time, probably he'll do something good. But the problem I have with Amorim is, even new manager bounce, we've not got some. And it's been 8 months. It's like the whole issue I had with Ralph Ragnick. You know, I got off the RR ship very early because after 5-6 matches, we are struggling. Like, we are not even getting a bounce. Like, there's nothing happening here. And it continued to the very end of the season. So I struggle to find anything I can hang my hat on and go like, if based on what I've seen this person do over the past 8 months, if we give him more time, things are going to be. But I just want to say this before we bring Danny back on because I can see his back.
Yeah.
When some of us talk about the fact that this team can be coached well to end the season well, what I am trying to say, I wouldn't necessarily want to speak for Sichu because he may have a different opinion, is that this squad we know has deficiencies. Amorim knows, I know, everybody knows that the team has deficiencies. The X factor for this squad is going to be good coaching. That's going to be, to me, in my opinion, that's going to be the X factor. And that feeds into what Sichu was saying. Good coaching means that sometimes you have to change things. You can't just keep on doing the same stupid things and expecting a different outcome. Sometimes you have to vary things. Premier League managers are super duper smart. See, I watched the Fulham game and at halftime, after 5 minutes, I knew Marco Silva had changed something. I just knew he had changed something. And if we're going to keep on doing the same thing that we're going to do, we're going to have a tough second half. Nothing surprised me. Marco Silva is not even the smartest manager in the league. That's my problem now. Like, he's a Fulham manager, he's not even the smartest. And then there are so many managers above him. So if you are not going to show your mettle as a manager, do something different in games, you're going to be found out all the time. When we say this, fans who are so hell-bound on just going like, we support the manager, go like, oh, it's because the squad is not good enough. And now they're even making excuses that it's a squad that's supposed to finish 8th or mid-table. Do you know why? It's supposed to sort of satisfy their notion that if this manager even finishes below expectation, what he's expected to do, it is okay. We can just move on to the next season. But let me tell you what is ironic and funny. Very, very ironic and funny. If he some way, somehow, that's what we on the other side of the fight are saying that he should do. That he coaches this team well to, let's say, a fourth, fifth, or sixth place finish. These same people who are saying this squad is not good enough and should finish mid-table will be the ones going like, we told you that he's the man for the job. Our response to them will be simple. That's what we're saying to you guys from the very beginning, that this squad can be coached to a good position.
Absolutely.
But it's like fans don't want to accept that, and they're already laying down the excuses for him. It doesn't even make any sense. It really doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense, as Kwame says it. But you see, I will share this. Dani has come and left again, but I would share this. You see, he has stated, I mean, in interviews that he wants to stay here for 20 years and all of that. Another time he wants to run away. Another time he says his players are not with him.
Another time he hates his players. Another time he loves his players.
He loves his players.
Confucius.
You see,
I don't know what that does for the dressing room, to be honest.
Too much.
You see, Kwame has consistently said something, and I have consistently agreed with him on that particular situation. The quality of players we've brought in is not for a manager. INEOS are not waiting for a manager. I believe so. The squad they have assembled is a squad that can be tweaked. I've seen a lot of people do 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 squads.
It's so easy. Like you can close your eyes and do but the players fit something different.
Switch the players to be able to fit into exactly what he is trying to do. So it tells you how flexible that the people at the top have designed this team to be. So Amorim definitely knows it. He knows it, and that's why he keeps talking about his ego, and he can just decide to leave the job, and he won't take any severance. He started this thing like last season, though, that I will leave. And
what did Joseph say about those kind of managers? What did he say about them? He said those people, they will live by that, their ideas, and they end up by dying by their ideas. But that is very foolish and stupid. He said it, not me. Joseph is the one who said it. But that's just how they are wired. You can't change them. And he said it is not going to change. So we just have to hope that his methods work.
It looks like he's a purist. It's either this way or no other way. And it's a thing. But you see, some way, somehow, too, I sort of understand the argument that he also makes about, I mean, the idea. But a lot of people are not also seeing the idea. But what's interesting is that you watch United against Arsenal. You watch them put on a show. And then they move into the Fulham game. And then suddenly, after first 10 minutes, Charlie, the people are gone. You just can't understand exactly what you are trying to do or what we are trying to, put together. So these are some of the issues that a lot of people have about Amorim.
I have a simple answer to that. Who is the underdog against City?
Yeah.
Who's the underdog going into that fixture?
Of course, it's United.
When we are playing against Chelsea, which team is the underdog?
Man United, then again.
When we played against Arsenal, what team was the underdog?
United.
Man United.
When you play against Fulham, which team is the underdog?
Fulham.
That's the problem. When we are underdogs, he said it himself that before the Arsenal game, said everybody expects us to lose. The games that we expected to lose, we don't play with pressure. The real pressure, it's like you yourself, Kwame, you've been saying, it's the games against the teams that we expected.
Grimsby. Look, and he said something. He said something after the Arsenal game. He said something after the Arsenal game that now we have shown that we can beat any team after the Arsenal game. And that was the Man United manager whose team had lost against Arsenal at Old Trafford. But what he said was, we have shown that we can beat any team in the league. Then he goes to the next game against Fulham and disappears. Loses against Grimsby, comes up against Burnley, and then he struggles to just get those 3 points across the board. So for me, I have nothing against Amorim. Look, I've always said it. I desperately want him to be successful. But the way he's going about it, I cannot trust that he's the one who brings Man United out of this place that we are in. Because then, look, I don't care what style you play as a manager. That when you come up against opponents, unless your system and style beat almost, let's say, 17 out of the 20 teams in the Premier League, it doesn't make sense then you repeat and you repeat your same style in every single game. It doesn't make any sense.
Danny.
Danny has to take over from
Yes,
this
Danny,
because
he
it
should
looked like
finish us. He should finish us. But Danny, I want to give you a certain glimmer. I mean, you watch the league table now. It's Liverpool on 9. The top teams are, like say, 6. Then United is on 4. In fact, we could have been on 6 if we had beaten Fulham and given ourselves some bit of hope. But it doesn't look like all is lost. I mean, we've moved from the banter 15 to somewhere 8th or 9th on the table. Where do we go from here?
Oh, all is not lost. Look, this Amorim should change. Amorim should change. Amorim should change. You know. See, for me, it doesn't have any solid basis. Change to what? We've seen this team play for back, and we've seen how terrible and how open they were defensively.
The same team? The same team? Was it the same team?
See, we've seen different variations of Man United team since Ferguson playing a back 4, and it's not worked. Okay, so I will not trust. I don't agree if somebody tells me that the back 4 is the solution. I don't agree. The thing is, you do what you know how to do.
Yeah.
You do it well. He's not gotten the elements to do it well.
Yeah.
So now, together. Look, Glasner is playing back 3 at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Glasner walked into a team that was playing a back 4, very defensive minded. Changed it with 2 games. His first game at Everton, where Jordan when he scored a 1-1.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the team had changed, and these were players who were in the Crystal Palace level players can adapt to a system mid-season. Why can't Man United players do it? I'm saying that look,
because the coaching is different.
Oh, how?
Because
of course, the coaching is different.
The coaching is different.
100%.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the fact that you have to adjust to a completely new system to you, and you see, adjusting that doesn't mean you get everything 100% to. Crystal Palace in the way they are now. Let me.
We have just 5 minutes. I'll be happy.
Danny is misinforming the public. He's misinforming. Glasner did not immediately change to a 3-back. When he beat us 4-0, no, he did not. Go back and check. Just Google the formation Glasner played against Manchester United when he beat us 4-0. It wasn't even a 3-back.
And that's one of the reasons why Jordan couldn't even get to the team.
The reason he changed to 3-back.
He changed to a 2-10 and he told players like Jordan and Co. They couldn't play.
When he came in last season, he hadn't immediately changed to a 3-back. It was this season rather that he before the last season. Yes. He came 2 seasons ago. It's like he came 2 seasons ago. Mid-season, when he came, he hadn't immediately changed to a 3-back. What happened was he made signings during the summer. Eddie Nketiah and Co. came into the side, and the system wasn't working, and he changed it to a 3-back then, permanently. And the whole season, you can go and check.
Okay.
Go and check. When he beat us 4-0.
My time is almost up, but I want I need to continue.
I was a Palace fan because of Jordan and you. So I remember this. I remember it because I was following from a Palace point of view.
Yes.
When he came in the season, the winter transfer after they had bought Adam Wharton from Blackburn. He came in, Wharton into a double pivot with what's his name, Hughes. And changed to a back 3. That's when INEOS started playing wing back. INEOS said, I can go and check. There are games against Man City, there are games against Liverpool.
I'm checking, double checking.
And that's why I'm saying that Jordan and somebody like that. That was when Mateta's transformation started, because now players were playing closer to him. As he drafted Eze into a double 10, and then he was playing somebody else like that.
Eze Olise.
And Jordan dropped to the bench because now he was playing double 10. And he traveled out to the end of the season where he now brought Kamada and Eddie Nketiah and Co. But the 3 happened in the middle of the season. It was a complete switch from the January.
I've seen it. It's like Danny is right. So
yeah, I'm a Palace fan. I'm a Palace fan.
Pseudo Palace fan.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Because you abandoned ship as soon as Jordan left.
So it's cool.
That is 2 minutes. Wrap up in 2 minutes.
Quick. The point is, when confidence is at a certain level, it's easier for players to adapt. Okay, and for me, if you bring a back 4, it's not going to solve a problem. If you change it to back 5, if you pack the bus, it's not going to solve a problem.
What about changing in games? In games,
he does in-game changes. They don't always work. But he does in-game.
They never work. They never work because we never win.
Please allow Daddy to flow. He has just
okay.
No, but you see, forget this thing. Me, I know this guy. Me, I know him. I know Situ. Situ can't tell me that he won the game from start to finish. It's the same thing he see. So you have to start being dishonest. Situ, stop that thing. But anyway, the point is confidence. Look, when the team is confident, everything will pick. I've seen Dalo play in the back three with Portugal, and it works. I've seen Felix play in a back three with Holland. It's working. At times, no, when he was with Lille, here that the Akite boy who had just come to almost, they were playing in the back three at times. It was working. Yes, we're able to adapt. Point is confidence. If we can get a number of wins under our belt, Moga, it will pick. So Amorim will calm down for him. It's not just he's a good coach. If you are not a good coach, you will not be doing what it takes to transform Sporting Lisbon into a league winning side against Porto and Benfica, who are giving teams problems in the Champions League. For Amorim, it will pick.
Oh, if he pick, it's for all of us, so no problem.
All right.
Yeah. And
thank you.
And we'll bring something else.
Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It's been so fun. So much fun having you guys. Daniel Crampton, Sicho, and then Kwame. And you for joining us. I hope you've watched something great here on this podcast. As always, we always try to bring you the absolute best of this podcast. My name is Kwame. I was here with Kwame. Remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Remember to like and share your comments on all that you've been listening or watching here on United and Everything Football. We'll be back in the course of next week when we bring you a preview to the game against Man City here on United and Everything Football. Have a great time. Enjoy your weekend and cheers. Thank you. Guys.